Oh, here we go. NFL Pick 'em Week 10. Only our second episode. We've been a little inconsistent. Missed a couple weeks. Not the usual crew, but we'll probably be cycling in people every couple weeks or so because we've had some issues. But nonetheless, we each picked 4 games against the spread. We're going to talk about them, give you guys some advice, help you win some money. So first up on my list, I have Tennessee. They're at home, plus 2.5 against the Packers. I think the Packers stink. Aaron Rodgers having an off year. And I think Marcus Mariota is the real deal, and I think they're going to actually win this game outright. The second game I have is the 49ers on the road, plus 13.5 against the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are a decent team, nothing special. I mean, the 49ers are atrocious, but I think they'll keep it close. It's a divisional game, so that's pretty much what I got there. I got Seattle on the road, plus 7.5 against the Patriots. Seattle never gets blown out. They rarely ever lose by more than one score. I think they'll keep it close. I think the Patriots will win, but it's going to be a close game. And lastly, this is my lock. I have the Giants minus 2.5 at home against the Bengals. The Bengals are terrible. I think everyone in that division, except for the Steelers, who are meh, are not that good. And the Bengals are especially bad. And I think the Giants are going to win by 2 touchdowns. Joe, what are your picks?
Well, I just want to first say that these the spreads are according to ESPN, so just so you know, their spreads may vary a point or two. So my first one is the Eagles at home, minus 0.5, so it's pretty much a pick 'em. And they're at home. I like Carson Wentz, and I think I've said this many times that the Falcons are a fraud team, so go with the Eagles there. Next pick is the Jets at home, minus 1.5 versus the Rams. Jeff Fisher, typical 500 coach. Jets at home. I think they're gonna squeak by, and it's
what's the Rams record? Do you know?
No.
Well, I mean, if they're 4-5 or whatever it may be,
guaranteed to win.
You gotta take the win.
Yeah,
gotta take the win.
They always go 500.
I'm taking the Jets. I still like them. Next pick is the Redskins. My guy, Kirk Cousins, wearing the jersey right now. One of my favorite players in the NFL. Really have a lot of faith that with them minus 2.5 at home against the Vikings. Vikings just falling down a hill. Sam Bradford's not very good. Taking Kirk at home, so I like that. And my final pick goes against what Tyler said. I have the Packers on the road, minus 2.5 at the Titans. Titans still don't think they're a very good football team. Everyone rags on Aaron Rodgers. He's on pace for 40 touchdowns and over 4,000 yards, so I really don't see how people are really laying into them like they are. I think the Packers are going to win. I think it's going to be more than 3, so there you go.
Mark, what do you got?
My first pick, a little bold here. The Chicago Bears, they're favored by 0.5 point in Tampa. And now the Bears, they're bad, but they're not terrible. They could squeak out a win here in Tampa. I mean, their defenses look pretty good in certain instances. So, I think they're going to show up here and shut down Jameis Winston, get the win there. Next pick, Dallas. They're actually, what is it? Pittsburgh. They're in Pittsburgh this week. Pittsburgh's a 2.5 point favorite. I mean, Dallas, with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, that's 2 kind of MVP candidates right there. So I think they're each going to come out, play well, give Dallas the win. And, yeah, that's why Dallas, I think, is a really good pick this week. Next, we got Seattle. I think both of you picked Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go too deep in there. So, yeah, Seattle, I mean, in the Russell Wilson era, they haven't lost by more than 10 points. And according to ESPN, New England favored by 7.5. Seattle should at least cover there. And then lastly, a little bold, some would say, the New Orleans Saints New Orleans is home against Denver. New Orleans is favored by 1.5, and their offense at certain points this season has just been electric. I mean, they can really compete with anybody in terms of offensive production. And then obviously everybody knows the story with Denver. They're very defensive oriented, and defense kind of wins games for them. So it should be an interesting battle between a really good offense and a really good defense. And ultimately, I think New Orleans' offense is just going to get the job done.
All right, that's the story for Week 10. Submit those bets, make some money, and we'll be back for Week 11.
Go Kirk Cousins.